Good morning. Welcome, both in the sanctuary and online on YouTube, to the Unitarian Universalist Church of St. Petersburg, Sunday, September 25th service. My name is Ben Atherton Zeman. I am the minister here. Happy fall, everyone. Blessed Mabon, for those who celebrate, and welcome to our Ingathering. I'm excited to bring you our Ingathering alongside today's worship associate, Michael Pohl.
Thanks, Ben. Good morning, everyone. We are a people of many beliefs, but we share a common faith that what we do in this world matters and that we are connected to one another and to our planet. Whoever you are, wherever you are in your journey, you are welcome here. We have 3 announcements this morning. First, in preparation for Hurricane Ian, after coffee hour, for those who are willing and able, please gather in the playground out that way to help secure any potential hazards from our grounds. Also, we will be sending out an email with detailed hurricane prep info. Please be on the lookout for this email.
Thanks, and thank you, Sabina, for organizing the action we're doing after worship service. Our second announcement is about our new member class. I'm really excited about this. It's going to begin promptly at 12:15 in Conway Hall, around the couple of round tables and our giant television. So we'll have these classes about every 3 months. So if you're thinking, no, I wanted to be in that class and I didn't sign up in time, fear not. The next one's in December. So see Vonda, Carol, or myself for details.
And finally, next week's worship service is the always exciting blessing of the animals. Please bring your well-behaved pets with you to be blessed and celebrated. Or if you prefer, you can bring a photo of your past or present pet.
All right, so thanks, Michael. I want to give a special welcome to any newcomers. So if you want a church where we believe in reproductive freedom, reproductive justice, where we believe that Black Lives Matter, where we believe that it is not only okay to say gay and trans, it's wonderful to be LGBTQAI+. If you're looking for a church like that, I have good news. You may have found your church home. And if you're new here to UU St. Pete, can you give a little wave like, hey, I'm new or I'm kind of new? Hello, welcome, welcome. And if you haven't done this part already and you want to say a little bit about who you are and what brought you here, you are welcome to do so now. You are under no obligation, however. I will repeat the words you say as best I can hear them so that the YouTube live audience can hear it. Does anyone want to say, hey? Fantastic. Moved here a month ago from Phoenix, Arizona, and is checking us out. And I didn't catch your name. Laida. It's nice to meet you. Long time UU. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Yeah. Oh, you were doing that. Okay. She's not raising her hand. She's clapping. Anyone else? Our greeters today are Jerry Humphrey-Gatz, Sabina Von Allock, Patty Canewood, and Karen White, and they're doing double duty of water, just helping distribute the water. And if you're right now thinking, rats, that's right, today was water communion, and I forgot to bring my water, Jerry has a way to give you some water that then you can give back to the community water. Today's RE volunteers, Ariana Drew, and our church bell was rung by 5-year-old Lillian Yarbert Lee. Great job ringing that bell. Lillian, was it fun? It was fun. Good. It was really fun. Kelly Olson is live streaming today with assistance from James Mack. That's right, James and John are back. How cool is that? Thank you all for wearing masks during worship. Let's take a moment to greet our neighbor, but please get consent if you're going to ask for a hug or handshake or whatever.
Our flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. It is a symbol of hope, the sacred, the quest for truth, the warmth of community, the light of reason, and so much more. When Ben lights our chalice, I invite you to say our covenant out loud. The words can be found in the text chat. Feel free to follow along with the two hand movements. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Now please rise if you are willing and able for our first hymn, Morning Has Come. It's number 1000 in the Teal hymnal, number 1000.
Good morning.
Morning, John.
Great to be back. Thanks for arranging for a hurricane for our return. Morning has come, arise and meet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome among us. The light of love here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
You may be seated. And now it's time for our water communion. Thanks to all of you who brought water. Michael and I will bring the handheld microphones at this point to the back, and we have time to hear from 3 people on each side about why their water is special to them. If there are not 3 people on each side who brought water, that's fine. We're also going to have the camera swing around for the Mevo for our YouTube live so that folks can see the water communion. So raise your hand if you don't want to be on the YouTube video. All right, that's no hands. That's all, right? Or did you want to say more about the water flowing to the stream to...
So even if you don't want to say anything about your water, if you did bring water, our ushers will have vessels that you can pour your water into, and then the water will make its way up through our river of people, up to the front, to our small oceans. So, symbolism.
The theology gets better as we get later on into the service. Would you want to talk to us about your water?
This water came from my knapsack this morning from a week ago from New York.
Thank you, New York water. You want to? All right, you're next.
Oh, this is from my frog pond across my apartment, and the frogs are really happy after thunder and lightning has abated.
My water is nice water. It says nice right on the front.
Our water is from our dear little doggy's bowl. Baxter, and Allie.
My water is from Lake Ontario, Niagara-on-the-Lake, the home of the George Bernard Shaw Festival, and my mom's hometown.
Thank you, Ann. And finally,
my water is from my hot tub. It helps my arthritis and helps my whole body feel so much better.
we're going 3 on each side. Fred?
Water from Martha's Vineyard, where our governor learned a lesson about how to treat refugees.
Thank you.
Our water, Sabina and my water, is from New Hampshire, where we spent a wonderful 5 weeks with her family.
You want
And we went lots of places, so it's from the ocean and from all the little places around.
My water is from the tap in the kitchen sink.
Thanks.
My water is from the ocean right in front of our condo because I'm loving being here and being with all of you, and I had to share that.
My water is from our tap from the new home in St. Pete, and happy to be here. Thank you.
My water is from Zephyr Hills, which is a local place to get the purest water ever.
I didn't know that was local.
This isn't the actual water, but it represents the rainwater, which is now full of tadpoles, which are thriving in front of my front door.
Thank you all who brought water today. And from one water ritual to another, it is time now for joys, sorrows, and concerns. And we're going to enlist the help of, are you still up for it? Putting the stones in the water? It's time for putting the stones in the water. The service is brought to you via YouTube Live, so please type your joys and sorrows into the text chat. And I should have said this. If you on YouTube Live have water near you that is precious to you, if you could let us know about it via the text chat on YouTube Live as well, that would be wonderful. Similar, please type the joys you have this week, the sorrows, the concerns into the text chat. And if you have one to submit here in the sanctuary, you hopefully have already written it down on the joys card that is in front of you. If not, write quickly because we only have one that was submitted in advance this week.
A stone of joy that John and James are back. The staff made you a welcome back gift, and we're so happy to see you both.
And I left the gift in my office. It was here last week. It was like right there. And we have one more. Mask, mask, mask. Stone of concern from Dana regarding Hurricane Ian.
A stone of concern from Joanne, whose friend Anthony in California last night heard someone being attacked in the next apartment. He called 911 twice, but no one ever came.
And a stone of sorrow from Basha on the death of her oldest friend, Lisa. I'm so sorry for your loss.
And one additional stone of concern from someone traveling to Spain for fertility help. The last chance to start a family of her own. Send light, love, and hope that this works.
Be right back. May we bring to mind and hold close to our hearts Basha and everyone else, known and unknown, who are facing health concerns. And may we also continue working for universal health care in this nation so no one need worry about the financial burden receiving needed health care. And may all who face challenges known and unknown find a comforting presence in the warmth of fellowship and community. And I think you already placed that final stone. Thank you for those joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts, perhaps too tender to yet be spoken out loud. And let's take a moment of silence together. The mystery is that we are connected even when we feel apart. So let us rejoice in our beloved community that makes of the many one. So may it be.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the giving life the shape of justice, roots holding close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
I'd like to invite the children to come forward for our time for all ages. Jade, are you still up for doing the water sounds with me? Come on down if you want to lead this with me. Hey. Hey, good to see you. Okay, who knows what the game of tennis is? We're meet and greeting here. Okay. How many know what tennis is as a game? You guys know what tennis? Ping pong, who knows what ping pong is? Who's right now playing with a dinosaur instead of listening to me and hugging? Perfectly legit. So my wife Lucinda and I live together, and we're just two of us in our apartment. No dinosaurs. We do have a dog. But we can play things like tennis and ping pong, but who knows what soccer is, the game of soccer. Okay, do you think we can play soccer, just two of us, just kicking the ball? You can? I think, kick like soccer. Well, what about football? Do you think we can play a game of football, just me versus her? Who do I pass it to if she's on the other team? I pass it to you. The point I'm trying to get at, and it's not working, is there are some games you can only play with bigger groups. How about this? Can you play a symphony with just two people? No, thank you. That's what I wanted. You can play half a symphony, yeah. So there are some things that you can do with a large group like this large group here, much better than you can with a small group. And one of those things is create a rainstorm here in this sanctuary. Now, you remember I told you magic is real, and then I told you last week that you have a part in making the magic. This is one of those ways that we can make magic. So Jade, if you would come up here, please. So when Jade rubs her hands together, just her, it sounds like this. Right, pretty great. And when she snaps her fingers, sounds like that. And when she does this, both hands on the... And then when she stomps her feet, sounds like that. Very good. Not like a rainstorm, though. But if everyone follows Jade in the room and rubs their hands together when she does it, go ahead. Please do what she does. We get the sound of a mist in the morning. And if everyone snaps their fingers together when she snaps her fingers, well, it started to rain a little bit. And if we say slap their knees, when she slaps their knees, the rain gets harder. And then when they stomp their feet, when she stomps her feet, you get some thunder. And then when you go back to slapping the knees, it's still a hard rain, and you back to snapping the fingers. It's a light rain again. Then we end with a nice, gentle mist. You see what you can do with a large group of people? More than what we can do with a small group of people. And as you go to your classes, yes, you have a question before?
I used to do soccer.
Fantastic.
I used to do basketball.
Outstanding. As you go to your classes, you've already learned about the water communion. You're going to learn about our 7th principle about interconnectedness. So we will sing you out now at this point.
Today's reading is from Dr. Susan Ritchie's History of UU Water Rituals. On the cusp of fall, many Unitarian Universalist congregations plan water celebrations and/or ingathering services as a way of reconstituting community life after the more relaxed pace of summer. But while these services are common, they are not always deep. Many have indicated dissatisfaction with these services. Water rituals reduced monologues about expensive travels, ingatherings that vaguely celebrate the restarting of a church season that possibly felt like it never ended. But the first Unitarian Universalist water ritual was an important part of the feminist movement inside of Unitarian Universalism, and it is closely related to the development of the current Unitarian Universalist Association's principles and purposes.
Please rise as you are able to sing hymn 318, We Would Be One.
Binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service. With love and justice strive to make us free.
You may be be seated.
Well, we are thrilled to be back home. Yes, we are. You want to say anything about this song, honey?
This is by a great singer-songwriter named Joe Jenks. Some of you nod your head, right, Fred? Ann? Yep. 2. Good. Wonderful trio that unfortunately are no longer performing together called Brother Son. That's who we stole. That's who we borrowed the song from.
I feel the current raging around me. Try to summon up my strength once more. I am weary on this journey, afraid I might not reach that distant shore.
I cry for help, feel like I'm sinking. There is no one near me I can see, but there you are in the water with me. You take my hand and guide me graciously. Will you come with me on this journey? Every breath we take, keep reaching for the dawn. I know alone I will falter, but with a good friend near me I will carry on.
There is a kindness in your smile
and a tenderness within your speech.
You reassure me, your love surrounds me,
and I know safety is at last within my reach. Will you come with me on this journey? Every breath we take, keep reaching for the dawn. I know alone I will falter, but with a good friend near me I will carry on.
It's an illusion we carry with us as we wade on through the waters of our lives.
That we must be strong and hold our own here, but a helping hand will save us by and by. Will you come with me on this journey? Every breath we take, keep reaching for the dawn. I know alone I will falter, but with a good friend near me I will carry on. With a good friend near me I will carry on.
John Arton, James Mack, Aaron Cassette. So good to have you back. We will follow that rousing song with a long history lecture. Seriously, it's a really good story. I've had so much fun researching the history of water communion. So in 1975, there was a woman named Lucille Shuck Longview, who was a devoted member of the Unitarian Universalist Parish in Lexington, Mass., and that's near where Lucinda and I live. Ms. Longview served as the UU delegate to the United Nations Women's Year Assembly in Mexico City that year, and according to Dr. Susan Ritchie, Longview returned from that assembly convinced that religion, even her own beloved Unitarian Universalism, was a chief culprit in the perpetuation of oppressive sexism. So back in Lexington, she gathered support and authored what became the Women and Religion Resolution, passed at the General Assembly 2 years later, 1977. Anybody there? Okay. The resolution called for an intensive examination of the, quote, sexism inherent in religious literature and institutions, close quote, beginning with the Unitarian Universalist Association itself. So UUA President Paul Carnes put together a committee to work on the resolutions, and districts, we had districts back then, were encouraged to support related women and religion groups. These groups quickly noted the necessity of rewriting the 1961 original purposes and principles, which used male-gendered language to express the concerns and dignity of mankind, and which failed to address the care of Mother Earth as a religious priority. So, in 1985, the principles and purposes as we know them today were passed by the General Assembly, complete with the inclusion of the respect for the interdependent web of existence as a new seventh principle. And this is the principle the kids are learning about right now in RE. Now, that was 10 years between the 1975 and the 1985, the Mexico City United Nations and the 1985 General Assembly. That was a long and difficult decade, apparently, and in between these two benchmark dates were countless meetings and conversations, worship services that served as profound spiritual explorations of the sought-after transformations. And in the middle of that, the first water ritual was part of one such worship service in Michigan. This worship service was called Coming Home Like Rivers to the Sea, and it was designed for the UU Women and Religion Continental Convocation held in East Lansing, Michigan in 1980. During that conference, the first draft of our current principles and purposes was written. The sexist language of the original principles was changed to be more inclusive and reflect the diversity of our denomination. The worship service was constructed by Ms. Longview and Carolyn McDade, who you'll recognize as the author of many of our wonderful hymns. This is what they later said about the significance of that first service in 1980 in Michigan. Quote, "Water is more than simply a metaphor. It is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence. Acknowledging that the ocean is considered by many to be a place from which all life on our planet came, it is the womb of life. Amniotic waters surround each of us prenatally. We now realize that this worship service was for us a new story of creation. We choose water as our symbol of empowerment." Carolyn McDade and Lucille Longview continued, quote, "Making our way like rivers from places distant and near, we come together to give shape to a new spirituality. For there is no theology," they said, "that calls women to strength rather than to support the strength of others, that calls women to action rather than to passivity, that calls women to full expression rather than to meek acceptance. Recognizing that," they said, "we see we must question every box, every definition, every assignment from an authority outside our own beings, so that we can create and recreate for ourselves the rituals and symbols that give meaning to us. So," they said, "we come together to question, to hear, to share, to speak, to inspire, and to celebrate through new rituals, knowing that our energy and our love are transforming. Celebrating now our interconnectedness, we choose water as our symbol of our empowerment. As rivers in cycle release their waters and regain new beginnings, so do we cycle," they said. "For us as women, these beginnings are powerful but not easy. But still, we come to create and to celebrate and to live by the only spirituality worthy of our devotion, a spirituality that uplifts, empowers, and connects." Right? 1980. And Yet for the first few times I experienced water communion in Unitarian Universalism, these past 25, 30 years I've been a UU, I didn't hear a lot of that. It was only with my current minister, Reverend Cindy Landrum, that I learned the true feminist history or herstory of the water communion. And I have really enjoyed learning more about it in preparation for today's service. During my research, I corresponded with one of the women who had attended that service in 1980, Reverend Linda Hart. She was a divinity student then and is still an active parish minister today. Reverend Linda told me that no men were allowed to attend this particular Michigan gathering. She told me the women came together in solidarity, awakening, reconnecting to their power, reclaiming their gender identity, seeking to make new meaning, seeking to break open Unitarian Universalism, make it more inclusive. She said the women gathered outside in a circle and sang songs of water, and then they combined the water they had brought with them into a large, clear bowl. Our bowl is opaque, and we're inside, and every gender is here. But in 1980, as each woman poured her water in the bowl, she said something about the significance of the water, like many of you did. One woman brought water she had collected from the Pacific Ocean that was near her home, another from the Mississippi River, another from the Gulf of Mexico, another brought rainwater she'd caught as it dropped from the roof of her house. And the records include one woman's reflection about the water she brought. Her name is Jean Bramaday, and she said, "I bring water from Canada, from the north, from the prairies. This water," she says, "comes from the Assiniboine River, which ultimately flows into Hudson Bay. I have listened at night," she said, "to the boom and crack of the ice floes breaking as winter turns into spring. The river is a symbol of the lasting power of life. The physical part of me," she says, "may die out. But like the river, my spirit will live on." We don't have cracks of ice floes here in St. Petersburg, Florida. And this happened in 1980, so how is this relevant to our ingathering today? Well, for one, each of us in this room are made of mostly water. Those of you who watch Star Trek: The Next Generation will know this. Thanks to both of you who got that joke. Bags, ugly bags of mostly water. We are made of mostly water. And also water is one of the four sacred things, as we say in our pagan rituals and with our banners. And for another, many of us identify in the room as women and many as feminists. But for me, the connection that came to mind when Lucinda asked me about this yesterday was this. Water could be a great role model because it's not hard to examine how water is interconnected. It's in so many songs. The stream sings it to the river sings it to the sea. Each drop of water, the clouds, and it comes in, it's all interconnected. Wouldn't it be nice if it were that easy to imagine human beings as that interconnected? But it's not always that easy. We often see our differences and focus on our divisions rather than our interconnectedness. May we be more like water. Janae posted this week about Archbishop Desmond Tutu's theology of Ubuntu, and I've talked about this from here. It literally means I am because you are. The quote she put up was, "We believe," the Archbishop said, "we believe that a person is a person through other persons." He says that my humanity is caught up, bound up inextricably with yours. When I dehumanize you, Tutu says, I inexorably dehumanize myself. The solitary human being, he concludes, is a contradiction in terms. Now note that Tutu uses the verb caught here, and this will be familiar to some of you who have heard me talk about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail here. He uses that same verb, caught, in his famous phrase, "We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny." So, interdependence is both a blessed way of living and also kind of a trap that we're in. I can't really just do what I want without thinking of how it will affect others I'm connected with. And we're caught not just by our human interconnection, but in our connection with all living beings and the earth, including water. One of our main projects as part of the FAST network is the effect of climate change on water in Pinellas County, including the red tide of last year. Our social justice team has been researching environmental racism and following the work of our African Methodist Episcopal ministers, like my wonderful colleague, Reverend Kenneth Irby, 2 blocks away at the historic Bethel AME Church. Many of our indigenous Unitarian Universalist leaders and other Unitarian Universalists have been active as water protectors, working to stop oil pipelines from damaging indigenous land. And all of us are preparing for the huge amounts of water coming our way from Hurricane Ian, ironically by buying lots of bottles of water. Water connects us all. We are all connected, and we are all connected by water. As we say at the beginning of each worship service, we are a people of many beliefs, but we share a common faith that what we do in this world matters, and that we are connected to one another and to our planet. Whoever you are, wherever you are in your journey, you are welcome here. Or to put it another way, we would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. So we'll keep the water, some of the water that you've brought today, so that we can use it for child dedications and other rituals throughout the church here. The rest of the water will be used to water the religious education garden out back. After the worship service, I invite you all to help me carry that water there and return that water to the earth from whence it came. This watering ritual will be live streamed on Facebook, like Lillian's ringing of the bells at the beginning. According to Reverend Linda, the woman I corresponded with, who was there in 1980, the original water communion inspired those white women to be more active in Unitarian Universalism and to become leaders in our movement. May this water ritual inspire you to become more active in our church community and to become a leader in our movement. May the example set by these women in 1980 inspire us to grow our congregation and our denomination into one that honors and respects the leadership of all genders, all races, all abilities, all beings, all life on this planet. Will you come with me on this journey? Joe Jenks sang. With every breath we take, we keep reaching for the dawn. I know alone that I will falter, but with a good friend near me, I will carry on. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
Now, let us remember our connection to one another, and let us not forget our contributions to support the means to those connections. The link to give online is in the description box below your screen. You can also donate through the Vanco Faith Engagement mobile app or on our website under the Giving tab at uustpete.org, or by sending a check to the church office. Today is Social Justice Share the Plate Sunday, where half of the plate will go to support the operation of this church, and half of the plate goes to the social justice homeless programs. Over the year, we support many local outreach organizations. This month, our support goes to Daystar Life Centers of St. Petersburg, which focuses on assistance with rent, utilities, transportation, IDs, clothing, and food. 95% of all money contributed goes to direct outreach in our community. Often the difference between having a home or not is a little bit of assistance. Please be generous with your resources. In the sanctuary, our ushers will now pass the offering bowls. If you are a newcomer here, please refrain from making a donation. This service is our gift to you, and your present is your gift to us. The offering will now be given and received.
Now feel free to follow along with the hand gestures as Michael extinguishes our chalice. The words to the traditional chalice extinguishing are in your order of service, and online they are in the text chat. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of courage. These we carry in our hearts out into the world. After Aaron plays the postlude, feel free to follow me as we water the RE garden with some of that water that we got from the water communion. I could use a volunteer to hold my phone as it is live streaming onto YouTube, because I didn't get anyone to do that. Okay, thank you. And then following coffee hour, we'll need help bringing things in preparation for Hurricane Ian. See Sabina, she's one of the ones who's carrying the collection plates if you can help. Go in peace. We'll see you after.